And we're live, I think. Not totally sure. Are we live? Is it working? Right, well, hello everyone and welcome back to another CRT live stream. Today we're taking a look at, well, the Ender 3 and specifically the magnetic build surface. Now, the surface that comes with the Ender 3 Pro, which is this model, although whether it's a specific model is debatable as they change so much, but this specific version of the Ender 3 that I have has a removable magnetic bed. Now, the problem with this is that it's generally limited to about 80 degrees Celsius. If you go over that, then you start to reduce the magnetism or even eliminate it completely, which I don't really want to do. Really big on screen chat. It's a terrible font. I really need to fix that. But yes. Hello, 3D Gusper and Jasna. Jasna? Can't talk. Welcome everyone that is here. So, basically the process for today is going to be to try and remove this surface that's on here and replace it with this. So, this is a stainless steel magnetic plate surface from a company called ANDORNOT. They have sent me 2 sets of this. There's another one over there somewhere. And in exchange for that, I'm going to demonstrate it on stream. So I've not used this at all yet. As you can see, it's very much not attached to anything. So I also don't know how difficult or easy it's going to be to take this one off. Now, obviously, that bit's easy, but it's the bit below it. I think I might need to heat it up. If anyone knows, let me know, because it'd be good to know if it does require a bit of heating before I try that. Because I can obviously heat the bed up to maybe like 50 degrees or something. I think that should help the process. If you know, let me know. Got some isopropyl and stuff to help clean it off. And then we can fit this. So this is very similar to, well, in like general format, very similar to most other magnetic surfaces in that it's a kind of peelable soft magnetic bit and a plain steel bit that attaches to it. The difference is this magnetic piece, well, it's flexible, but that doesn't really matter, is 1, a little bit thicker, and 2, has a higher maximum working temperature. So you can basically use this, well, it's been tested up to 120 degrees Celsius, which means you can have your bed at like 100 quite happily. Ender 3 is going to struggle to get any higher than that, I think. But yeah, it allows you to pretty much hotter than it would with the standard bed that comes with it. Also, although this surface that comes with it is flexible, is quite a strong magnet as well. So although this surface that comes with it is flexible, in my mind it's a little bit too flexible. You can't kind of force a print off of it. You almost have to peel it off, and then you kind of damage this surface trying to do that. But yeah, so this surface not perfect. This one hopefully a bit better. So let's have a go at doing that. I'm very good, thank you for asking. I know I've not been around for a little while, but hopefully I'll be back a bit now. I've not been ill or anything like that. I'm totally fine, for anyone wondering. A couple of people thought I might have been dead, and I'm not, evidently. I was just working on other things, I'm afraid. So, anyone got any guesses to whether this should be heated or not? I'm wondering whether it should. Will it soften the glue? Will it just make it more tacky and more difficult to get off? I might try a little bit and then see how we go. So I've no idea if this is a good idea to do it like this. I'm going to try with a small knife from the... Oh, sorry. Let's make that a little bit bigger as well. Also, it doesn't seem to want to get rid of that welcome to chat text in the chat. It seems a little bit unnecessary. There we go. That is what it is. So let's try and get this screen in a little bit closer. Screen? You can tell I've not been streaming in a while. Let's get this camera in a little bit closer and see how we're going to get this surface off. So ooh, this looks quite easy actually. So there's definitely two kind of layers here. There's the magnetic plate and then the adhesive under it. It was looking like, ooh, that's, so this is now adhesive and this is actually quite clean. So I just want to peel it off in such a way that the stickiness is going to stay sticky here and not here. It seems to be good so far. I don't know whether that's going to maintain as I go all the way. If anyone has any questions not related to this, I'm happy to answer as I'm going. Although I may not see it immediately. Oh, so that's interesting. I had no idea. So I always thought that these screws were like embedded into the aluminium somehow because it was just a knob, there's no resistance to that turning. And it would appear that there is in fact a screw there. So presumably it's just the spring tension against that surface that's keeping it from coming off. Well, keeping it from rotating when you turn the dial, knob, whatever you want to call it. This is actually working really surprisingly well. I was expecting this to take like a lot longer and a lot more hacking and cutting and probably hurting myself, but I mean, maybe I'm going to speak too soon because it might get worse. It's quite difficult to peel up, but this is ridiculously easy. Although it's quite warm, so while I'm doing this, let's answer a couple of questions that I wrote for, well, on your behalf before the stream, things that maybe people don't already know. So why would you want a removable bed? Now there are a couple of reasons, and I think a lot of people will have their own reasons for doing that, or this, but for me it's because whenever I print something large or particularly valuable or for a customer or something like that, I don't want to damage that print getting it off the bed. And if you're hacking at it with a spatula or some kind of sharp implement, then you're probably fairly prone to damaging it as you're getting it off. And that's, well, as something I want to avoid, I don't want to be hacking at it. The second thing is I also don't want to be hacking at the bed, so damaging the surface, scratching the surface, or even just changing my leveling by hitting the dials and anything like that. That's another process I want to avoid. By having a bed that you can take off, well, you don't really remove the whole bed as such, just the actual build surface, I guess. It just gives you that option to do all those things away from the printer. Another reason is that removal becomes much easier. Ooh. Because you can get things off by just flexing a plate rather than actually attacking it. Well, so that is now that completely removed, and this is not sticky at all. I mean, I probably shouldn't have touched it because now I've got to clean it, but that bed has, well, that surface has come off superbly easily. Hello Sue, nice to see you. Yeah, so I'm not exactly sure on the precise specifications of the magnetic surface, but I've been told by Andrew, who works, well, or owns ANDORNOT, which is the company. The link is in the description, ANDORNOT. I'm assuming that "and" refers to Andrew, the name of the guy. So there's probably some relevance, I just don't know what it is. But 120 degrees working temperature apparently is workable for this surface. Interestingly, not only is this thicker, it seems to be filled with kind of magnetic magnetic particles. Small metallic particles. I don't know if that's the bit that's magnetic, but it's all kind of, I don't know if you can see in this camera. Sorry, I keep doing that. Sorry. Probably just spurts out my loud music for the first second. Can you see that? How kind of sparkly that is. It's not the best camera, is it? Shimmery sparkly. Yeah, apologies for the music. So the question is, which way up do I install it? I've got the instructions here. Advisable to remove any existing build plate. So I mean, I guess you don't have to remove that one that's there. You could stick it on over the top, but I mean, that seems a little bit daft to me. Hence why I removed it. Adhere the 3M transfer tape to the magnetic sheet. Adhere to the less magnetic side, the non-shiny side. So I need to put hello Potrek. So what this comes with is also this sheet, but I've also got this build surface. So this is a build surface from, again, ANDORNOT. I'm not entirely sure what the material is, but it's a clear material, sort of semi-translucent. It's kind of rough and textured. I have used it once before on Steve, in fact, but that was a rigid build plate. So because it's, well, from my experience, it actually sticks really well to the surface, pretty much. PLA worked well, PETG worked very well, ABS for kind of medium-ish things, ASA worked reasonably well, but because it stuck really quite well, and that had a, well, this was bonded directly to, in fact, I've got it over there, let me go get it. So this is the build plate from Steve. Steve kind of Mark 1 and a bit. As you can see, it's a solid aluminium plate. So this is a 6mm aluminium tool plate with a Kinovo heater on the back, 220 volts, 350 watts. And a version of this surface, obviously larger, but not by much actually, is stuck directly onto this face. Now, the problem with getting things off is that it stuck well and there was no flexibility in this plate to get a thing kind of under the edge to tear it off. So it became quite irritating to use. Now, what I'm hoping to do with this is obtain that same good adhesion that I had experienced previously with that, but on a flexible build plate where it's much easier to get off afterwards. It does kind of look like PEI. I just don't know what colours PEI normally comes in. Maybe it is PEI, I have really no idea. Does it matter that the flex plate is not the same size? I mean, this fits most of that. Does it matter that it doesn't cover the whole bed? I'm not sure. I don't think it's going to be a problem because this is going to be fairly rigid. The stainless steel is going to be fairly rigid. It's only overhanging maybe 5 or 10 millimeters. Yeah, it might be nice if they were like perfectly the same size, but ultimately don't think that matters too much. Now this is probably going to be a bit of a challenge. Yes. I should have somewhere like a squeezy, spongy, smoothie outy thing. Don't know what the technical term is, but it's a tool thing that's useful for smoothing things out. Here we go. It's like one of those things you use for vinyl wrap. It says 3M on it, but it seems a bit cheap and nasty for a 3M thing. Anyway, hopefully this is going to help me put this on here all nice and smooth. Is it PEX? Do you mean PEI with a typo, or is PEX something I've not heard of? So Steve So Steve was a Core XY, so that bed only moved vertically. So it was really not very difficult to move. Obviously, it's just moving very small amounts each time. So not too bad, but yeah. Yeah, heavy sled beds can be difficult. So yes, I guess we need to put this onto here. I don't know how. I mean, I know how, but I don't know how I'm going to achieve it well. Ooh. I don't know if I should just scrunch this up or leave it. Let's just put it over the back. Oh, you can't see the thing behind me at the moment. Anyway, takes a bit long to heat up, but it shouldn't cost much more energy to keep it warm. So it's actually the same size. Yep. A squidger. Technical term, squidger. Now you know. Squeegee? Squeeger? Squeegerer? Right. So, how do we... Let's move back to close up. Avoiding the dramatic music in between. So, This is 3M adhesive. So for anyone that's not used 3M adhesive before, well, specifically these like 467 MP sheets, which basically seem to be a fairly universal adhesive used for 3D printers. Basically, once it touches anything, it's stuck, like permanently. Getting it off is a pain, which makes me think that that one probably wasn't 3M. I've like that plate, the build plate you just saw for Steve. That is again the same stuff, obviously from the same place. The version 1 build plate, it probably took me like 3 hours of like scraping and alcohol and all sorts of different chemicals. I tried to get it off because I didn't really know, so I mainly guessed. But anyway, getting it off was a pain. So you want to make sure that you line it up. And I've just realised I was talking to the wrong camera. Anyway, line this up. I'm pretty sure this side here is now just paper and the sticky thing is there with another side. So what I'm going to do is just fold that one corner back, line up the whole sheet carefully, concentrating. This is my concentrating face. Oh, what? It would help if I actually concentrated a little bit more. Sorry, can't talk and think at the same time. Okay, so that's that corner on. PX is another print surface Wham Bam are selling with their magnetic plates. Interesting. Does anyone know what that PEX is actually made of? Is it like PEI Extreme or something? Just like a variant of PEI? I should probably talk to Wham Bam. I've heard a fair lot of things recently. Sorry, wobbly camera. Right. I was like, oh no, the knife stuck to the glue, but it's not, it's just, yeah, magnets. So now it's down here. We need to align the other side, pull this back slightly. Oh, this is not easy. I really dislike doing this. Trying to get it straight and consistent is just the world's most difficult task. What a ridiculous exaggeration. It's quite difficult to get it just right, as well as demonstrate on camera what I'm trying to achieve at the same time. Well, it's not quite straight, but I think it's straight enough. Definitely some bubbles, which is a bit unfortunate. PX crosslink polythene, variant of PVC. Crosslinked. So, well, cross-linking is just basically a thermal process that plastic undergoes, so it is polythene, the same material. So there was a bubble there, so I just cut a small hole, just so I can get the air out. It was a fairly decent sized bubble. Other than that, I think we're pretty good. Right. So now we have this fairly nice looking magnetic plate. Did I put that on the right side? Adhere to the less magnetic, the non-shiny side. Okay, so I might have just put that on the wrong side. You can't win, can you? I knew I was going to do something wrong. It makes a massive difference as well. I got this from a company that do vinyl wrap. Look for somewhere that sells vinyl wraps for cars, and you'll probably see them selling tools like this. That way you'll find the name, and you can probably find a cheap one on eBay. Yeah. Might have messed this up ever so slightly, having put that on totally the wrong side. What an idiot. I think I'm going to get the other one and concentrate even more this time. Right, it's just as well I've got two of them, isn't it? It wasn't designed to be so I could make a mistake, but I'll probably have to use that one on the printer eventually, but yes. Well, trouble is, I think it was a lot less adhesive, a lot less so these are the difference basically. This is the shiny side up, so this is this. It's just the way the instructions: adhere the 3M transfer tape to the magnetic sheet, adhere to the less magnetic side, the non-shiny side. Why doesn't it just say adhere the 3M adhesive tape to the rough side? Like the non-shiny, adhere it to the less magnetic, just adhere it to the rough side. Anyway, so this is shiny side. Like that is really well stuck down. And this is the rough side. Barely it kind of, you can even like slip it around. It's not very stuck at all. So, adhere the adhesive to the non-shiny side. Right. Attempt number 2. Measure twice, cut once. I mean, unfortunately there was nothing to measure. Yeah, I suppose the measure in this case is checking the right side. Stupid me. Anyway, you win some, you lose some, eh? Right, let's try again, shall we? Using the squeegee spongy smoothie thing. If anyone finds a kind of vinyl car app site while they're watching, do everyone a favour and share what it's actually called so we can all find them. It's actually quite good, as you probably noticed already. It does what it needs to do. It has like a hard side and a smooth side, so you don't damage it, scratching it. Right, so this is now definitely bonded to the rough side. Look, just in case there's no magic and it accidentally flips sides halfway through. That is the rough side. Yeah, exactly. You spotted the deliberate mistake. Clearly I meant to do it that way to show you how not to do it and how important it is to get it right. Obviously that's what I did. Just as well this camera's on the table, because doing this shakes the table a lot, but because the camera's on top of it, you don't notice. Right. Let's just pretend that was the first time. So now that I've applied it correctly to the rough side, that will then go on there. Fortunately, it should be a bit easier to not F up this next bit. Although, no, okay. I was just, I just thought that because I'm putting a surface on top, like this, I can just use that on top of the sticky side with the, but I can't because this has already got the sticky applied and the sticky side is not going straight on the magnet, it's going on the build plate. Can you tell I'm tired? Tired? Anyway, let's get on with it. Right. Anyway, right, what's the next instruction? Let's see if I can fail at this one. Shape the magnetic sheet to suit your printer bed using a sharp modeler's knife or a pair of sharp scissors. Yep, that fits. That is good. Next, adhere magnetic sheet to printer's bed to center of the printer bed. I can do that. Right, before I do that, I'm going to get a bit of alcohol and wipe it a little bit clean. I mean, it shouldn't be too bad. I've only touched it this once in the last 30 seconds, and it's been covered up the whole time. So this is probably a little bit unnecessary, but I'm going to do it anyway. Yes. Adhere the magnetic sheet to printer's bed to center of the printer bed. So I want to kind of follow the same process, peel up a corner, align it, and all that jazz. You need those sharp scissors very quickly. I'm really good with scissors. I'm good with scissors. Scissors. Right, let's get this out of the way a little bit. Let's get this out of the little way. Right, I'm going to bring this in close to me. Switch this around. Point that up a bit. Switch you over. You can just about see. Other way. Other way. Excellent. So, I mean, you can probably quite easily see there. Oh, let's not get it in the right place. In fact, is this going to make a difference? I know with the end of... Oh, bloomin' Charlies. I'm a little bit concerned that actually it's going to be so strong that getting it off again is going to be quite difficult. Yeah, so that... I don't know if it's going to happen with the Ender 3 sheet, but this had like... No, so I could still use this. Anyway, this, when you use the Ender 3 one with that thing, it has like alignment, it has a lot of poles in the bed, and as you have it at a very slight angle, you can kind of move it across and it kind of jumps over. Doesn't really matter. Anyway, let's get on with putting this down. So, first things first, as before, peel up a corner. Fold back that adhesive like so. Place it down. I mean, alignment here should be pretty easy because there's loads of room. Did anyone find what these are called, by the way? Ooh. I've just realised I'm now doing it totally behind here and you can't see anything. My apologies. Let me just describe it for you. There's a squeegee and it's moving. Squeegee? Is that what they're called? Maybe I'll just go with squeegee. Not bad, eh? Quite easy. No mistakes. Doesn't seem to be any bubbles. Now, this is obviously quite a lot. Not obviously, but it is. This is a fair bit thicker than the original adhesive surface, and the with the steel and the surface on top of that, it's again going to be even thicker. So if you do this, you will need to move your limit switch, but that's not too complicated. Hopefully you'll manage that. And re-level the bed and all those kinds of things as well. So, let's have a test. Let's see how easy it is to put this on here. A million times easier than putting it on a... I've actually never done a mobile phone screen, probably for the best. Bloody hell. Did you see that? It nearly took my bloody fingers off. Holy nippers. Let's do that again, shall we? Just for demonstration purposes. Makes my heart skip. Well, I don't think there's any risk of it coming off, but that's a little bit on the violent side. And getting... These need to be, like, you know, on the Prusa one, if you've seen a Prusa Mark III, the access to this is at the corners, not the middle. Because if you're peeling something from the middle, there's no like small bit that you're starting at the worst section. Like when you peel off a corner, like I just did peeling corners, you always start at the corner. Now, the more concerning thing is, well, more concerning, the other concerning factor about this plate and size and strength is that the material, this stainless steel, is not a spring steel, which is a little bit unfortunate, but spring steel is just so expensive, and so this is designed to be a low-cost solution. So it just means that you can't flex it as far without permanently bending it. Have you broke it yet? Not yet. I've almost broken my fingers, but not. So I'm just kind of more worried that in order to get this off the bed each time, I'm going to be stressing it to the point where it's going to just permanently deform the steel. Ugh. I don't think I can stress quite how violent that is. Other than doing this and lifting up the entire printer by the spring steel bed. A little bit on the strong side. So, let's just move that back a little bit. So, I mean, if I wanted to just go back to using that, that will still work. I mean, I'll lose a bit of edge space where there's no support, but right. Now my heart has recovered. What's the next thing? Fix a build plate to flexible bed or print directly onto the stainless steel plate. So I don't think anyone realistically is going to print directly onto stainless steel. I've literally never heard anyone recommend stainless steel as a build surface. So this is bigger than it needs to be. That's going to be a bit of a pain. Okie dokie. So next thing, attach the build surface to the steel. If you put a PEI sheet on both sides of the steel, would the magnet be just the tiniest bit less strong? Yes. Let's have a go, shall we? Let's just pretend that that surface is down here. Makes a reasonable difference, actually. It actually makes quite a big difference. I don't think, like, can't lift up the print. That is violent. That you can lift the printer up by. Definitely recommend. If you do this with this sheet, get a sheet on the underside as well as the overside, as it were. Maybe not necessarily something we're going to print with. Maybe you will, maybe you won't, whatever you choose to do. But definitely put something on both sides. That way you reduce the overall stiffness, strength of the... it's still plenty strong enough. It's not sliding across the bed, but it just means you can take it off without lifting the printer up in the air. Jasper Jansen. Good idea. Very good idea. Right. So let's get this on here then, shall we? Back in a minute. Just going to check if I've got any other surfaces that I can put on the other side. Onto the side. Ooh, no. Ooh, what I have got. Hang on, let's display all the magnetic things. Right. This is a collection of other things, as collections tend to be. So this is a Prusa steel sheet. This is a Prusa PEI black version, the newer PEI version. I've got the gold version on my Mark III. This one is for upcoming project. That's pretty violent. Can lift the thing by it. That's interesting. So as I'm lifting that corner, it's really difficult to show you. Can I show? Right, let's just get this off here. Probably not going to be able to show you this without it moving all over the place, so if you get motion sick, look away now. So what I'm going to try and show you, there you can see it. The adhesive underneath gets pulled up away from the bed using that. So, I mean, I guess that's one reason not to lift it from the corner. Although, to be fair, let's get up that. The adhesive will probably cure over time. Again, that's a cross-linking polymer process, I believe. So that should probably get more sticky, maybe harden a bit. I don't really know. Not an expert on adhesives, but presumably there'll be a bit of a curing process where the strength of that adhesive will improve over time. So this is print bite and build tack on a flex plate from build tack. Let's just try. Again, liftable. This normally would go that. Very, again, liftable. So it looks like pretty much any surface you put on here, it's this magnet that's strong rather than this steel sheet that's too thin or too thick or whatever. So this is a powder coated PEI. It's quite a big difference between, I might just be that one's actually coated and stuff, but maybe it's just in my head. This one kind of sounds tinny, whereas this one sounds, oh, tinny. That is uber violent. I think this magnetic sheet just needs to not be quite as extreme. It seems a little bit thick. But then this print surface is also quite thick, so we'll see. And here I've got probably some other print surfaces that I can use. Andrew Wade, I'm judging magnetic build plate. The reason why the magnetic is to stop the build lifting if the print warps. It was tested with Polymax PC that I found can warp heavily. So there you go. So Andrew is the guy from, well, I'm presuming that Andrew is the guy. Hello, Andrew. That designed this magnetic sheet with this build plate. So if you have any questions, he's definitely the one to ask. So in here I've just got a number of other surfaces. So I've got some PEI and other things in here that I could put on the other side. I think for the moment we'll just use the surface I got with it. Well, yeah, I guess from that point of view, if you're looking at reducing warping by holding it stiff, I can see that working quite well. It does make sense. It does just seem a little extreme on that snap when it comes down. But then again, is there any other way to hold it tight? It definitely holds it tight, there's no doubt about that. I mean, even just along an edge. Okay, so let's just get this surface on here. So again, same process as before. This is almost feels glass-like, strange. Line it up with the corner. I'm actually going to use a different corner, I think. Let's use this one. This one's a little bit more square. There we go. Yeah, so as I mentioned, the adhesive peeling is because it doesn't cure yet. It takes time to cure, which makes sense. It's an adhesive. So again, lining up the edge carefully, pressing one side down, using the unknown blue tool, which helps smooth things out. Let's get this back down here. Close up. Cool. So again, same process. You see me do this quite a lot now. You do have to be a bit careful with these more rigid surfaces because they don't, like with the smooth ones, you can have it come up really steep. So when you're doing it, it comes up steep and it makes it a lot easier to smooth it down. If you're doing it like this, it's quite easy for lifting here to pull this surface up. So you just want to avoid doing that. Once it's touched down, you don't really want it coming up again. Oh, by the way, Andrew, while you're here, I accidentally put an adhesive on the wrong side of one of the magnetic sheets. Oops. I even read it out and then accidentally did it wrong. So, yes. I'll probably still recover it. I'll just maybe use it the other way up or keep the adhesive on, but that happened. So as you can see, this sheet is a bit too big for this, which is fine. It's just easy to trim down anyway. But we'll just take a knife and cut along the back. Let's use something that's a bit more sensible for cutting that. Oops. Might have cut all the way through to the table. Oh well. It's a wooden table, so it'll be fine. This is going to be a little bit more difficult to trim, but I mean, in reality, it probably doesn't matter that if you don't trim it. It just gets in the way. Right. Also just going to cut the very sharp corners of that being left a little bit sharp. Let's just it's one of those do as I say, not as I do. Okay. Don't know if it's sensitive to grease. Probably shouldn't have done that. So there we go. That's nicely went over the sticker slightly, and that's pushing the surface up a little bit. I'm going to actually try and remove that sticker. Ooh, all the just get rid of it. All the blues come off of it. I lost the bin. It's just the floor. This does still make me jump. So there you go. That's the process. Now, the next thing we're going to need to do, should I do it now? I don't actually have a print. I should have set up a print ready to actually print something out. Didn't do that. What's the time? 9 o'clock. See, Skulder. I found them, so the ANDORNOT website, I found when doing designing Steve, the printer videos and stuff on the channel. I think that was 2 years ago. I remembered them when I was probably 6 months ago when I was looking at something else. I was like, I definitely remember seeing that somewhere before. Just even trying to find the website when you already know what you're looking for was difficult. So I'm not surprised that a lot of people, well, I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of people haven't heard of it, because even when looking for it, I found it quite difficult to find. So hopefully, at least the link in this video will help people find that website. So it might be good at holding stuff down, but it is still terrifying. I don't think that's ever going to get old. I don't know how you can stop that without it. I think we're probably just going to end it there unless anyone has any questions, because I haven't planned a print or anything. So, I mean, I'm planning to do a short review on this. I mean, a review is a review, whether it's short or long. It's not as comprehensive as a printer, so it's not going to take ages because there's not that many aspects. But I will be doing a review on how this prints, how well it works. I'll be talking a little bit about the assembly process, which I did today, which, as far as I'm concerned, not really any problems. The notes are a little bit confusing, but other than that, all works pretty well. I've not managed to bend the steel plate yet, so, I mean, to be honest, if you need to bend it more than that to get something off, then I'd be incredibly amazed. So as long as you're not ridiculous, I think the spring steel is probably a bit over the top. I wouldn't disagree that spring steel is probably still the better solution, but it is significantly more expensive. So there's that. Yes, Stephen, that is a very good idea, and I've thought of that already. I was just kind of playing with it then, because I know on the Prusa they have those little screws that come off out the back, and that help you align it, so when you put it down and it kind of snaps down, it snaps straight. And this was the one thing I was just looking at here, because the Ender 3 is quite narrow, and the power supply even sticks into the kind of build volume. It's quite difficult to get it exactly lined up before it just snaps down, and it almost seems to move out of line a bit when you put it down. Maybe it's just kind of doing a weird wonky backwards angle, but I'm just thinking, like, I'm aligning my fingers at the back there. Yeah, see, that's now much better. Not bad at all. I don't think you can put screws through the bed because there's a heater under it. It's one of those beds where I think there's like copper traces in the. Let's just have a look, shall we? As far as I know, there's copper traces in the. Yeah. So I mean, there's copper traces all the way through the bed, not all the way through it, but like on the bottom surface of the bed. It's not a separate silicon heater or anything. So if you do drill through it, be very careful because you don't want to hit those traces. But other than that, does anybody have any further questions? If not, I think we're going to call it there. Lots of things to get on with. Like, for example, something you might have noticed in the background. I did put it there deliberately. It's probably so dark back there you actually can't see it, but that'll be coming up on the channel soonish. Right, I've not seen any further questions, so thank you very much for watching. If you liked the video, then like it. Subscribe if you want to see more from me. You can find links in the description to all the stuff I was using in the video, which is, well, I'll not bother linking the Ender 3, but the ANDORNOT build surface and the build plate. I'll just have a link to the ANDORNOT website so you can get one of these if you want it. A review will be coming soon. If you want to support the channel, there's also a Patreon link in the description below. It would be great to support the channel via that means. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram for behind the scenes and stuff like that. Again, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Goodbye. Can't find where to do the thing. Goodbye.